What's good, guys? So I know I said this before, but I'm going to do my best this time at sticking with it, and we're gonna start posting on YouTube again. We're gonna start with my story. I know a lot of y'all know me from the bodybuilding space, and don't know my whole background, so I'm gonna give it to y'all today, and maybe this might give you a little more insight into who I am and why I do what I do. So we're calling this my story, and this is Fit Dad Talk episode 1, and man, we're gonna start from the beginning, man. I jotted down some notes for me, just to keep me on track so I don't ramble and go off tangent. But anyways, born in Modesto, California, military brat. Father's African American, obviously. My mom's Japanese. They met in Japan. He did 2 tours, brought her home. The second tour was when I did my grade school years in Japan, in Okinawa, Japan. So yes, we bounced around from place to place. Born in California, lived in North Carolina, Camp Lejeune. My father's side is from Columbus, Ohio. My mom's side is from Japan, Kanazawa, Japan. And I did most of my grade school years in Okinawa, Japan. And we lived in the Japanese community, but I would bus to the military base and go to military school during the daytime. But anyways, man, grew up with a pretty abusive father. Saw him put his hands on my mom and of course me as well. But that lasted all the way up until probably junior high. So my roughest years growing up was from grade school up until junior high. And then he got older, so he settled down. And then in high school, I started running track around 11th grade. And so he was a track athlete, so we had that connection. And so things were kind of chill in my high school years. Because he'd be following me around to different state track meets and whatnot. And then when I was on a traveling team, he'd be crossing the United States, watching me travel all over the U.S. And then in college, I ended up getting a full ride to the University of Tulsa on a track scholarship. And so same thing, my parents would be flying all over the place to watch me race across the U.S. and qualify for NCAA nationals, USA championships. In 1999, that was my my senior year in college. Yeah, so I took it pretty far. I didn't start running until my junior year, and then had to play catch up. Funny because the track thing wasn't really supposed to happen. All that happened because my parents were trying to teach me a lesson about my grades. And so after my sophomore year, they shipped me out to Columbus, Ohio to work for my uncle to do roofing and lawn mowing all summer long. And for like a 16-and-a-half-year-old, he wasn't trying to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning all summer to do manual labor. But the cool thing about that was I came home with a lot of money, and I also learned that I didn't want to do manual labor. So I think that was a lesson that they wanted me to get my grades up and blah, blah, blah. So when I came back, the punishment wasn't over yet. I had to join the cross country team, and I was pissed about it. I came back from that summer and I saw these Nike Air Pegasus sitting on my bed, and they didn't really get me stuff just because, like, it had to be Christmas or my birthday or whatever. So I'm like, what the hell are these tennis shoes on my bed for? So anyways, yeah, he's like, cross country coach called. They're short. They're short this season for guys. I'm like, I wonder why. All them fools do is jog. So yeah, they forced me to go out for that, and I was pissed because all summer long I'm cutting grass and doing roofing work. I'm not building a base. I'm not like trying to improve on my endurance. So all these cats, they ran all summer long to get their endurance up. So anyways, here I am showing back up summertime, like right before school starts. They start early, they start practicing early. So it's like 90 some degrees outside, humidity, I don't know what the humidity is, hot, right? And then they're like, yeah, you're gonna go for a 4-mile run. Matter of fact, this is a new guy, AJ right here. Take him on a 4-mile run. It's 2 miles out, 2 miles back. And so I was cool with the 2 miles out. It's the 2 miles back that I couldn't hang. They're chit-chatting while they're running, like, I don't know, 7.5, like 8-minute pace. And on the way back, man, my stomach was messed up. I had to jump in the bushes. Damn near gave myself a heat stroke trying to hang with these guys because I didn't run all summer long. Anyways, lost my t-shirt, lost my socks because I had to jump in the bushes. And once the kids got back to the school, they're like, yo, what happened to AJ? And so the coach is like, yeah, what happened to AJ? They said, yeah, he started walking about 2 miles back. So he hopped in his pickup truck and came and picked my butt up. So that was my first experience in cross country. I hated it. I quit. I straight up quit. So I was out for about a week or so, and I came back because it was eating me up alive that these dweebs could do something physically better than me, which is just jog further. So I was pissed about that. So I came back out for the team. And then that year, I was the only one that made it to state. And I ran in my training flats is the same thing I raced in because I had no experience. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just there. So at the state meet, I floundered because it rained heavily. And at Kansas, man, they got that place called Rimrock Farm, which is like where the the collegiate guys race on this their course. It's really hilly. And then my class is 6A. So if you guys understand track, you all compete with the same size schools. So all the 1A schools compete together, all the 2A, 3A, 4A schools, they all compete in their same category, the same class. Well, they all went before us, and the 6A, the biggest schools, competed last. So after all the rain and all these athletes running up and down this course on this path, it was all muddy. So I show up in the same training flats I showed up with all season long, and I'm falling all over the place. Can't climb up the hill because I don't have track spikes. I don't have cross country spikes unlike everybody else. So long story short, man, it was just I made it to state. I was the only one on my team that made it to state, but it wasn't pretty. Right? So the following year, I knew what time it was, and I ended up placing third in cross country in state. And then by the time I got to track and field for my senior year, I placed first in the mile. I ran 120. Sorry, I ran 420. No, I didn't. I ran 415. 415 for the mile in my second season running the mile. That put me in the top 20, top 25 in the U.S. And at that point, college coaches hit me up, and I knew I'm gonna go to college off this because I didn't have any plans. My plans are probably going to JUCO work part time, try to pay my way through school, that route. But yeah, so I popped off that 415 mile, and I also ran 154 for the 800 as well. And yeah, college coaches started calling, and I decided I wanted to run AAU and USA Track and Field in the summer league to just get more experience because I was so brand new. I only had 2 track seasons, and here I am trying to go to college and run. So I felt a little intimidated, so I wanted more experience. So I did AAU and USA Track and Field. I did both circuits, worked my way through the circuits, qualified for nationals in both AAU in the men's, the boys 1500 meters, and also qualified for USA Track and Field nationals in the boys 1500 meters also. So luckily for me, both organizations had their nationals in Florida. One was in Cocoa Beach, one was in Gainesville. And I was 1994, man. So I won state track meet. A couple months later, I messed around and collected a national title in the boys 1500 meters in AAU, and also collected a national title in USA Track and Field. I was hot that summer. So anyways, I went into University of Tulsa feeling really good about just confident, man, because again, I didn't have a whole lot of experience, but what I had was grit, and I didn't like to lose. So I show up to college at the University of Tulsa, man, my first year, and it was a rough year, bro. Like I was only running like 25 miles a week. That was my mileage, which is really, really low if anybody ran track. If you ran distance, you understand that's super low. So anyways, by the time I got to college, with only 2 years of 2 seasons under my belt, I couldn't do the same mileage that the rest of the guys are doing on the team. Like they're doing 60, 70 miles a week, and my body couldn't handle that. I couldn't go from 20 miles to 25 miles all the way up to that in one season as a 19-year-old. So like they had to scale my workouts down. I was doing probably less than what some of the girls were doing. I was doing like 40 miles a week, was crushing me. I was missing classes. I was sleeping through the day. I was sleeping through classes. I was hurt. Like it was a huge transition for me from going from high school to college and being a collegiate athlete, man. It was rough first season. My times weren't all that much better. I got a little bit better, but for how much work I was putting in, it was more of an adjustment to get my body adjusted to these high mileage, so I could have faster times as I progressed through college. So yeah, man. By my sophomore year, I was acclimated a lot more. Started having some better times, and it wasn't until my senior year though that I really had a breakout year again, and then put myself back in the like national rankings, right? But I dropped down to 800 meters. That was my event. So a lot of guys bump up in college, but I dropped down. So 800 was my event, man. Ended up popping off at 146 and qualifying for, in college it was 147. And I qualified for NCAA championships, and I was in Buffalo, New York in 1998. I can't remember. I have to Google it or whatever. But yeah, Buffalo, New York. And I had popped off that fast time. I PR'd and popped off at 147.6 or something like that. 147.6 and 147.4. Anyways, that put me right into into the mix and to qualify for to compete at nationals. But I popped that off in Rice at my what was it? It was at Rice, and that was our conference meet. And at that time, Tulsa was in the Western Athletic Conference, and that conference was huge before they broke it up. So yeah, we had one of the stronger conferences. So I qualified for nationals that day, and it was in end of May, beginning of June. But nationals isn't until July, so I was already petering out. That was kind of like my peak, and because I wasn't expecting to go to nationals, and I popped off that time and qualified. I was excited, but I was kind of on the downhill after that. And that was Rice is in Texas, Houston, Texas. So again, I'm running in high 90s degree weather. I race really good in hot weather, hot, humid weather. That was all me. Then 3 weeks later, I'm in Buffalo, New York. The temperature dropped to 40 degrees or whatever. I was freezing up there, just out of pocket, new, first time at nationals. And I was in the 30 heat, and I nutted up and ran it was 150 something. It was bad. Came in second to last or dead last in my heat. And then to add salt to injury, they pulled me aside and drug tested me. I was so mad. I'm like, y'all gonna drug test me for coming in second to last place. So anyways, so that was my college stint. And then, but I kept on competing. I competed, I ran, it took me 5 years to graduate from college because of all the competing, all the traveling I did. Because I was in cross country in the fall, indoor track in the wintertime, outdoor track in the spring. When I was good enough, I got a chance to race over in Canada and Europe in my later years. So I never had an off season like the other sports. So it was traveling all year long, constantly competing all year long. So I lived like a Shaolin monk through my college years, man. I didn't get to party like everybody else all the time. I went out every now and again, but rarely, man. We had 14, 16-mile runs on Sundays. So that kind of took care of going out on Saturday night and acting stupid. So it was a real disciplined life that I had to live. But I loved it, man. I loved where it took me, because if I didn't have that discipline to do that, I wouldn't have been able to do all the cool things I was able to do. And I didn't appreciate that at that age then. It wasn't until I got into bodybuilding that I looked back and reflected on that and saw how amazing those years were and what doors it opened up for me. And the only reason why those doors opened is because I had a passion for something. And I didn't realize that until I got into the bodybuilding space. I was a lot older. My self-reflection was a lot higher. And I kind of figured out why. Only 2 times in my life that I surfaced up to the top, and I'm in the top 1% in the world at what I do. And any other time when I'm not passionate about something, I'm average like everybody else. But I'm lucky to be fortunate enough to find 2 things I've been passionate about in my life. And maybe 3, because my family, I'm pretty passionate about them too. But a lot of people don't even find one passion in their lifetime. And so I'm super blessed. I understand that. I acknowledge that. I'm grateful for that, because passion is the secret sauce, that element that makes an average person extraordinary. Pick your favorite athlete, your actor, actress, musician, whatever. It's passion that separates them from everybody else. And that passion means that you will do whatever it takes, put in the hours, right? And it doesn't mean much, like putting in 60, 70 hours a week into something when the average person can barely put in 40 hours a week. And how I compare passion to a person that doesn't have passion, it's like an employee clocking in, clocking out, right? 40 hours, that's all you're gonna get from that person. But a person that's passionate will work 60 hours a week, 65, 70 hours a week. And I compare that to like an entrepreneur who's dead serious about seeing some success in his business. And that's the difference, because the person who's consistently putting in those hours that most people can't fathom, that's how you pull away. That's how you win, right? And that's how you look extraordinary. Wow, how's he doing this? And so that's what I learned when I got into the bodybuilding space, kind of reflecting back. But anyways, man, after all that, qualified for Olympic trials. Sorry, I qualified for nationals that year. That was in 2019. And in 2000, qualified for Olympic trials. And after that, man, I got injured, fizzled out, and I started working corporate, and I hated it. I hated it, man. Come here. So what's up? I'm trying to record this YouTube video, but I'm gonna come up in a second, okay?
I got ready at 7:35.
Good job, buddy. I'm proud of you. But can you let me finish this video real quick?
Books.
I know, but I gotta finish this, and I'm gonna come up, okay? Just let me finish real quick. I love you, son. Yeah. Just give me a few more minutes.
At least this is going to be in your video now.
Yeah, you're gonna be in my video, and this is going up on YouTube. So yeah, I'm not re-recording this, man. It's one take and that's it. But anyway, so yeah, I started working corporate and I hated it, man. I hated my life. I felt like it wasn't for me. I was bummed. I felt super average too, and I wasn't liking that. But yeah, I felt empty inside, man. So then I found, I turned to BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and in my late 20s, and then I transitioned into MMA in my late 30s. And with BJJ, I found a bit of success. I went to the Arnold's and did the no-gi grappling there. It was the Naga Championships held at the Arnold's. That was in 2017, the Arnold Classics. So a pretty big event. But I won the welterweight title there in the no-gi division, tore it up. I was 170, 175, man, soaking wet. But anyways, then I transitioned into MMA, and then years later, when I was 34, I tore my tricep, fell into a downward spiral. I felt sorry for myself. I just wasn't mentally mature enough to handle that. I was one of those no days off guys, but when I got injured, I wasn't applying that same mentality to when I got injured. So I got in this habit of going out with my friends after I tore my tricep, hanging out with the folks that didn't have a passion for anything themselves. They would just work and then drink their lives away. So I got caught up in that, man, and I messed around and got a DUI. And man, I felt like I hit rock bottom. It was for a year that I had to deal with, being under probation, having to, call in every Friday and do a color test, and if they pick my color, I got to go piss in a cup, and I had to do all that stuff, man. And I felt like a piece of crap, and I was embarrassed about it for years. But I realized that's what set me on the path to where I am today. So that loss turned into a lesson, and so I talk about it now because I just want people to know my life wasn't perfect by any means. And if this can inspire somebody, help somebody understand that this can, you can turn your life around, and it's exactly what it did for me. It was God telling me something, and then I found bodybuilding, and as I was trying to do the fitness modeling thing, just because there's longevity in it, right? So I got out of the MMA stuff. At that point, I was 34, and then transitioned into competing with the WBFF at the age of 35. So again, I got into that late too. And then I competed with the WBFF as a pro from 2011 to 2018. And then I won 3 world titles with them as a muscle model. And then I decided it was time for me to ditch my pro card in 2018 after my last world championships. And then I went to the NPC and I competed in the classic physique in the NPC. My first show I won overall, and then got my national qualifier. And then after that, I got married and I adopted my 2 girls. And so I sat out for the rest of the year there. And then I also had to transition from the US to Canada. My wife's Canadian, so now I'm in Canada. So I had to transition, leave my business, leave everything in the US, and then come up to Canada. And yeah, that move was a bit rough. And then in 2019, I had my little boy, the one you just saw just now. And but I already had my schedule kind of blocked out for 2019. Plus, I think I might have been nervous. I was having a boy, having a kid, having a baby. And I was still dealing with my identity too, because I was AJ the bodybuilder, not AJ the husband, not AJ the father, not AJ the family man. And so it was a transition year for me, trying to figure and sort all that out. But I went on a run, and in 2019, I added a men's physique national qualifier.
He looked like a pro on that stage full of amateurs, and that's not to take away from any other person in the division, but you just had, you're polished, you know, you have that mature muscle, you have a small waist, you really don't have any gaps in your physique.
So I already had the classic qualifier from 2018, added a men's physique national qualifier in 2019, and then I decided to do both classic and men's physique at nationals. Messed around and won 4 pro cards that day. It was rough. Starting to fade towards the end of the day, so I realized why people don't do a bunch of categories like that. But I think I might have broken some kind of record. But I ended up winning 4 pro cards in both classic and men's physique at nationals, and I continued on to do another show later that year and took it was in San Antonio, Texas, and I took 7th out of 45 guys in my first pro show. Then 2020 happened, right? The pandemic. My online business started booming, and in the same time, that's when the pandemic happened, and I was trying to use my platform to speak out against that, and kind of speaking against the narrative. And instead of capitalizing on it, like I saw a lot of big accounts doing, and I just wanted to use my platform for good and kind of wake people up, because I was doing my due diligence, I was doing the research. I know a lot of people weren't at the time, so man, I got heavily censored, and my business tanked hard, right? And when I said my business took off and started booming in 2020, with all the lockdowns, Canada was locked down for 2 years. Australia, the UK, all locked down for a long time, over a year, up to 2 years. So I was helping a lot of people out, doing in-home workouts and whatnot, and I was seeing months like 50K months, 60K months, and I saw 3 70K months in a row that my business brought in until things got taken away from me. And I'm not saying that to like boast about it, because as soon as the money came, the money's gone. So it has a little bit of a sad ending. I mean, I guess positive really ultimately, but like I said, as soon as the money came in, the money was gone, because I was heavily censored, because I was talking the way I was talking. I was sharing too much truth, and they can't have that. They can't have a big account. Like before 2020 hit, almost, I was supposed to have 1 million followers. I was right at 1 million almost, and then because I was speaking the way I was speaking, they were censoring me hard. I can care less about the likes and the comments, but my business is attached to it. So I wasn't getting clients. People weren't seeing my account. They're also deleting people off my account. Now I'm at 800, like close to 800,000 now. Like, how do you go from 1 million to 800,000? Like, when you have an account that big, like the people are following faster than the people are unfollowing you. So yeah, they did me in, man, and it took a massive hit financially. Seeing those high months like that, and then to nothing. They squandered my business to nothing. I was getting 0.5% engagement. And so that's when I realized, man, my business isn't my business, is tied to social media. So then I started getting into email marketing and that kind of stuff to kind of salvage the business. But 2.5 years of just trying to pull it together. And, I suffered, my family had to suffer. And, I was crying, woe is me, for a while, wondering why this was happening to me, when all I was trying to do is help and put good out in the universe and wake people up. But I realized that I was really one-track minded in what I was doing. I was worshiping myself, the money I was making, my business, patting myself on the back and not giving any glory to God. And so I'm a firm believer, like Babylon, he wiped me out. He chopped me off at the knees, and squandered the business because I was heading down the wrong path. And to be honest with you, if I would have kept on, and I wasn't even happy with that. I needed to see 80K months. I wanted to see 90K months, 100K months. I was being so one-track minded that I was in the office 10 hours a day, even on Sundays. I'd take my family somewhere to Mexico or wherever, and they would be out enjoying it. My butt would be in the office or in the hotel room on the computer, and not really being happy, still just chasing this money or whatever, and thinking that I'm doing a great job. I'm a provider, provider for my family. That's it, but all the while I'm thinking I'm doing it all by myself. So like, I don't think I would have ever have refound my relationship with God if this wouldn't have happened. Now, I was crying for a couple of years, woe is me, but during that time, I found a relationship with Christ. I came back to him because I realized that, I realized my values. And I realized that I became one-track minded, and I was only chasing after the money. And through the downtimes that I had that was forced upon me, I realized that there's more to life than just that. I have a family, I have a wife, 2 daughters and a son. And because of the times I went through, I was home a lot more and had more idle time on my hands. So I reconnected and got involved. And I'm the most present father that you'll probably ever see now, especially you'll see it on social media, but that's how it really is. You see my boy coming in here, like I'm the one that puts him to sleep every night. It's daddy this, daddy that, daddy, 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 because I was home and able to spend that time that most fathers don't get to spend with their son because they're trading 40, 50, 60 hours a week to provide for their families. And I was able to be at home all these hours, right? Like a mom would be. So I'm kind of like a mom to my son. So that's the plus side of this, that, you know, that's the blessing that my eyes were wide open now. I'm awake to how I was living life before to how I'm living life now. And I'm very present. And my family sees the difference in that. Like they see that, you know, I'm not one track minded anymore. It's not just all about just making money. I'm more balanced, and now I walk with Christ. Everything I do is based on what He wants me to do. I pray on a daily basis, worship, heavily involved in my church, tithe, serve, all of that. And since I've been doing all that, I've been noticing a lot more blessings and things happening, like a lot more miracles happening. Yeah, so that's my story, man. Let me see, what else am I trying to hit up here? So yeah, basically, man, God recalibrated me. And it's a funny thing because, like, I think God will take things away from you or close doors on you when He doesn't think you're ready for it, right? So I had to ground myself and get back into scripture, get back into the Word, get back into praying, all that stuff. And once I got back into those things, the doors started to open again. He started opening up different opportunities for me, which is crazy because that's exactly how He works. And while I was crying, woe was me, feeling sorry for myself, it was really just Him saying, man, son, you're not ready for this. Like, there's a reason why, like, I don't let my boy drive a car yet, right? Like, he's not ready for that, right? So in the same sense, He was telling me that I wasn't ready for the things that He was showing me at that time. So He closed the door on me. And it sucks that I had to learn that way. But a lot of times, man, people have to hit rock bottom before they come back and turn their life to Christ. So that's where I'm at, man, now. My boy's about to be 6 years old now. So he's becoming more independent. So I'm getting a lot more time back to myself. And this year I'm about to be 49, and it's going to be the year that I'm going to step back out there again and, become major the bodybuilder again. And so the goal here is to get not a national qualifier. The goal here is to get an Masters Olympia qualifier. And then Masters Olympia this year is in Tokyo, Japan in August. So I got to step out on stage right quick, kick some butt, win something, get that national qualifier, and then go represent at Masters Olympia in Tokyo. And the cool thing about that is that my Japanese side has never seen me compete before ever live. And so this will be the one time after 15 plus years of me competing that they would actually get to see me compete live. And so, hopefully I get that Masters Olympia qualifier and get to Japan, God willing. And I'm going to be on here talking more about it as I'm prepping for this show. So, man, thanks for sticking with me. I know it's a long video, but kind of wanted to put it out there. My whole life story in a nutshell in 29 minutes. But stay tuned, man. I'm going to share some more stuff and kind of go in depth to a lot of things that happened in my life. So